Hello, Judy here from Thistledew Creations. I'm doing a little bit of a series today on altered paper clips. And this next one is the first one I ever tried, and it's more of a hidden paper clip than just an altered paper clip. And what I use for this is I save the top cardboard piece from packaging. You can just fold cardstock, but I figure I've already got this already pre-creased, usually a good size for this. And what we do is we just put the paper clips right on there, leaving yourself however much room you think you need. I think what I'll do with this side is make an altered paper clip that's wider. And I'm going to completely hide the paper clip. I'm just going to cut that off there. I'm going to go ahead and round these corners. I'm not sure if they'll end up being exposed or not, but I'm going to round them anyway and ink, just in case any of this stays exposed, but it really isn't my intention for it to stay exposed. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, so I'm going to go ahead and ink. Okay, so let's just do one first and just see how it goes. So then we want to cover this. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one edge and fold it up. And what that does is it makes it easier to slip on to the paper. Because if they're both coming down the same distance, it's hard to get them apart. So you do this and then that solves that problem. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on this and fold it over and clamp it. So I might have to do a couple at a time just in order to let my glue dry. So we'll do this one as well. So I usually just leave whatever's inside and just fold over to the unfinished side or the plain side. And again, I'm going to put my two paper clips on there and fold one edge up. And probably hot glue would be best, to be honest. That's not done yet. Should have known. And then covering that with something, usually something either good and strong like cardstock, or if you don't have cardstock, then something busy in terms of pattern, because then you're not going to see the ripples from the paper clips as much. So what have I got handy here that I feel like using? Oh, here's a pretty paper I would like to use. This is just out of my blue and green and purple bin. So this paper, I can cut it a little bit bigger than the underside stuff. I should have figured out how big that needed to be before. So about, for starters, maybe 6 by 3.5. So let's get our 3.5. And I don't feel like this is a tearing situation, so I'm going to get my cutter out. And it'll be a lot easier to get 3.5. I'm going to use this edge so that I've got this brown edge, and I'll ink the other side so it's similar. This is like a good thick scrapbook paper, not quite cardstock. So it's a little thicker and it's a busy pattern, which is a good combination for this. And so then if I fold this over, ideally, if I fold it up in there and glue it really good, might be the best. Or I glue it just to that bottom edge and put some lace or something. That'll cover up this. I'll take this off. This little sticker. French fry paper is what this package was. So this will come like here, and fold over. Cut that off. And just dry fitting it here. Push that over there. And then this, if I fold it right there, I should be able to tuck it up in there. And then fold this over and glue it to there. And then that's all covered, you see. So let's do some gluing. I'm going to glue it in stages. I'll glue this flat section. Which goes here. And here I'm going to hide the paper clips right inside. Sometimes you see them sticking out, which I don't mind, but this time I'm just going to hide them right inside. And so you see my finished paper is just a little wider than the card. And then I'm just going to use tacky glue on this to cover this little bit of the card that's showing. And then this one, this glue stick probably isn't doing a whole heck of a lot, but I'm doing it anyway. And then this wants to be completely glued. And then this flap is also going to go up inside there. I think there's better ways to do this. I've seen a few videos, but I don't have a lot of patience for watching them. And then I'll ink this edge, like I said, just to kind of match the other side. Across the top. It's definitely a vintage photo kind of shade of brown. I'll just do the bottom edge too, and the top edge. Gives it a good cohesive look. So it is a little bit lumpy and bumpy. You might not be able to see that in the video, but that's why I say to use thick paper and or patterned paper so that you don't really notice how bumpy it is. Now this seems to want to stay open because I've had those paper clips open, so I don't know how to solve that either unless you just put it under something heavy. Might do the trick. And then that can be called finished, but you could also, of course, keep decorating. So that's going to go down over a page like that, or off to the side like this. And again, I don't know how to solve this where it wants to stay open. If anyone knows, mention it in the comments. I think there might be a better way to maneuver the paper onto the paper clips. For sure. Because that just wants to stay open. Won't do me much good. But I could decorate it further. But before I do, I think I'm going to try to find a better way here. So that's probably stuck down well enough. And this one is not gaping, as you can see. Can I use this piece? It's just so brilliant, that green. And I feel it needs to be covered. Either covered or utilized. How could I utilize it? By putting it with something bright. Maybe something like this. This is not my style at all. But let's see. Something like this will work. I really don't usually do colors like this, but it's in my stash, so let's see if we can use it. Fold this nice and even. This isn't as thick of paper. So I'm going to fold it about here. And I'll just cut off the excess. So that's going to go up in there. Yeah, that's a little bit better way to do it. So I'll glue that first and stick it up in the short side. And then I'll glue this surface. Figure out where this fold wants to be and cut it off about there so that I'm able to get it in there without opening it up too far. I'll glue this surface. I was thinking this yellow polka dot was going to be the star of the show, but it isn't. And the green isn't even showing anyway, so I don't know why I felt I needed to get a bright paper, but here we are. And this is where I got to get it in there without misshaping the paper clips. There we go. So now that opens up easily for the paper clip to slip across either the top or the side of a page or a couple of pages. No, definitely not my colors. Someone else will love it. And then you can do fancy edges, you can add lace, you can add all the embellishments we've added. But it's a great way to use up these package toppers. sometimes you might find that you can keep what's on the front. That can be like the finished edge of one. So in other words, you would put your paper clips on a different piece underneath. Just got some staples here that I have to take out. That's going to be the long side, and I'll cut this side shorter, just like this is. So put the paper clips on this one, and I'm going to leave them up on this time. Still going to do 2, gives it more holding power. And to get those a place to come through, I'm going to cut a couple of little holes with my hole punch. So kind of space them. I guess I'll space them evenly on here. So we're 3 1/4. So 1 5/8 is the halfway point. And then if I go 3/4 from there and 3/4 from there. That should be centered. And just cut a little hole right on the edge. And then hopefully that's wide enough. I don't think it is. Just make it a little wider. That could be neater. But just get them, move them to where the holes are. Like so. And stick it up a little bit further. I want them about the same. And then glue, glue, glue. Bring that side down. And this one I want shorter, but I think I'm going to fold it and put it up in there. And fold it about there. I'm folding it back the wrong way, and then I'll fold it the other way. It's not giving me a completely straight edge, but it's not bad. I can make it work. Get that up in there like that. So that needs some glue. The whole side needs glue. And again, hot glue would work well for this, except that it'll be a little bumpy. Or it can be. It's not guaranteed to be bumpy, but it can be a little bumpy. And then, so we've got French fries and like the daily newspaper wrapping the French fries, the English style. I want to cover up this set of 24 thing, so I'm going to get some tickets or labels or something like that to put on here. So I've got labels. I've got some small ones. The red might work. That's building department and sanatorium. I don't think that's really what we need. Let's see what we got here. Some of these are neat. Find something to do with food. Old cupboard drawer. That's maybe a little big. Sewing. Grocers. These are from Temu. Lavender. Something oil. I think the grocery one will work. What else have I got? I got a couple with words here. What do they say? Herbal, woodland, my story. None of those really jive. I just don't want this to be the only thing on here. Some little number labels. I also have tickets. And I'm thinking maybe the red. Oh, I've got some orangey tickets here. That's perfect. And it says London. For the fish and chips theme. And there's just another little piece of rusty paper to go with that orangey stripe there. I think it's the basket. I'll use that one. That looks more like a ticket. So these are the pizza boxes that I decorated, and that's how I'm using them. Is I've got tickets in one, labels in the other one. Nicely into my drawers. So let's just figure out a little bit of an arrangement here. I want the London showing. Oh, that's really glossy on the back. I don't know what that was from. The wholesale grocers definitely goes in this corner, but it can be hanging off. And then the orange ticket, upside down. And then on the other side could be these other ones, covering up this part of the label. And that says fresh meats. It's like a butcher's list or something. So that's kind of cool. I can leave the fox run there. That doesn't bother me. So there, I'm using the original packaging, and then I've got room here for 2 tassels, and they should be just the right kind of material too. Maybe butcher's twine or something instead of just ribbon. Oh, what did they use to wrap them up when they deliver them? Probably some sort of twine. There's some green yarn that's kind of like twine. I don't know if that's quite the right tone. I was thinking more like this twine. And maybe with black. Got a little bit of black there. So if I cut myself 2 pieces of black, and then I'll divvy up the twine equally, at least this piece. Cut in 2, and then again. So I'll put 2 pieces of twine and 1 piece of black together. We'll go through each section here. I'm going to make it small to get it through. And then once it's through, you have to open it up to get all the ends through, like so. And you want them both going, I would want them both going through the same way. Back to front or front to back. So again, make it kind of small to get it through there. Not the black through, but not the twine. I kind of want them together as a unit, like that, to go through. If you don't have any fingernails, you'll use your tweezers to pull that through. I have a little bit of fingernail, so I use it. Open that up. Get all those ends through that loop. I didn't get them through the black part. Oop. That wasn't glued tight yet. You don't want to be able to pull those out. Ultimately, they need to be glued down. That's where the hot glue would work really well because it would be set up pretty quickly. And then I'm just going to cut those off. And cut these off. And then that just gives that a fun little tassel. I do need to stay down in there. Once it dries, it'll be fine. And if it's not, I'll take it apart and use hot glue. But I think once it has a chance, it'll firm up nicely. So that's a good one where we used the actual packaging and didn't just cover it. And I'll just make that look a little less new just by inking the edges. And that could be a little thicker, but it's fine. There. I kind of like that one. You know darn well I didn't start out with the idea of making that, but there it is. So that's been fun. I don't know about decorating these ones. I have a hard time visualizing what I would put with this. Really. Maybe the purple butterfly. Yeah, that's a hard one for me. I mean, not really even liking the paper. Maybe some of this. Maybe we can use some of this with it. Along the bottom edge, just a little bit of eyelash trim. Looks pretty good. And I could do a few rows of it just to give myself a bit of a ruffle. So I'll move this line of glue up about 1/8 of an inch. And just set that into it. Probably want to do at least 3 layers of this. Isn't that looking cute? Went from fugly to cute. I think that's enough. And then, well, what else can we put on there? Well, the other thing that you can use is your clusters. So if you have a cluster book, if you don't have a cluster book, start one, and then you'll always have a little something pre-made to go on to something like this. So let's see what I've got here. These have a bit of teal in them. You are the best thing. Let's just see if this works. I want to be able to see this teal, or else there's not much point to any of this. That one maybe doesn't work for me. Take the risk. This too shall pass. Be courageous. Maybe be courageous. It's got a dragonfly. It's got teal. I can cut away this brown paper bag from behind the lacy part there. See if that works better. I'll cut it away from up here too. And I'm going to glue that right down. So that's a great example of how you can use your clusters. You don't just keep them in a book. The book is just so you always have one handy to use when you're kind of maybe at a loss for what to put on something. Usually there will be, if you've done a variety of colors and styles and layouts, then you should be able to find something to put on and decorate them. So let's see what we can find for this one. The teals won't work. Those are too bright. Good things take time. The color's not bad on that one. Relax and slow down. I think I want a smallish one because I don't want to lose all the pattern. Let's see what we've got that's a bit smaller. And it could be I could pick up the pink. No Guts, No Story. Let's see. I'm going to take these out of the book without really wrecking the book. If you're careful. See? Hopefully you can see that. Just a little bit of paper residue left behind. No Guts, No Story. Have it. Yeah, right there. And let's see, do I have to take anything off of this? I don't think I do. I would, if I needed to, take off some of the paper bag around the edges, but it looks fine. So you don't always have to start from scratch. Sometimes you can find something out of your cluster book and use it to decorate. I'm just wondering about a little bit of lace along the top edge of this. Something lacy. That's just too cute to use. Let's see here. I need to deal with these. This gray lace maybe will be good. It's very flat. Cut both ends on an angle and stick that under there like that. Just sort of glue the bottom edge of it. And maybe up another 1/4 inch. And then stick that in there. And then I don't think that those will reach to glue that down. Need to get some longer clamps like this that reach farther. It's okay at this end, but it doesn't reach at that end. And then the back side, maybe I can do something on the back side of this one too. I could put the lace all the way across for starters, just barely hanging down. Like that. And then see if there's another one of those clusters that will work. Enjoy the little things. I'm going to cover most of the back if I use that. Let's see, instead of that, maybe just a little piece of another patterned paper. That's too busy. But maybe something in that pink tone is what I'm thinking. I do have some really cool roses paper that's been through the embosser. I'm just gonna take and cut kind of a piece of that. And maybe I will give it this sort of end. That's better, even though it's a little off center. They both are a little off center. And that doesn't need much more help. It's beautiful, just like it is, but I'm going to ink it because it's even better when it's inked, I think. And just a good bit of tacky glue along the back. And layer that over the lace. And if you had a word to put there, you could put a word. What does it say on the front again? No guts, no story. And it's in gray. Some words here somewhere. I've used all the gray ones, actually. It doesn't matter if it's gray. So it says no guts, no story. And focus on the good. Just taking my ripple edge scissors to that word and just getting it a little bit inked. Bit of glue and have this off to this side so that you can see that little bit of flower there. There. That's pretty. No guts, no story. So 3 more hidden paper clips this time, not just altered paper clips. So I hope you've enjoyed this little project and as part of the series of paperclip projects. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Most of all, have a great day and happy crafting.